Hello, everyone. I have. You know what? Stop the music. Stop everything. I think it's about time for a change of pace around here. So, I've been gone for several months now, mainly because of my injury with my wrist, but I finally got my cast cut off and now I'm in this brace for a little while, and I even got my model railway finished. So a lot of things have changed around here, but why not get back into the swing of things and start making videos again? Hello everyone, I'm Troublesome Junction, I has a box, and let's review it. In this box we have the Bandai, aka D-Arts, Megaman Forte figure, aka Base, along with Treble / Gossipal. So, let's get into it, shall we? This box looks absolutely fantastic. A really nice display of what you get. You got Treble, you got Base, and you have all of his interchangeable parts. At the bottom down here is just that, whole spiel about copyright information and all of that. Side of the box has nice artwork of Base, and the back of the box showcases the Mega Man in this D-Arts line, along with some of the poses and stuff you can get him into. The other side just says Base on it, still looks nice nonetheless. Well, time to get that famous cut shot in because it wouldn't be a Troublesome Junction video without it. So, opening the box, it is insanely spectacular and really nicely put together. This figure, I have nothing but praise for how it looks. Well, let's see exactly what you get in this. So, getting him out of the packaging, here we can see some of his interchangeable parts, his alternate arm and Mega Buster, and his other faces you have. One of them he has teeth gritting and he's looking down, and one of them is looking forward. And of course you can't forget about our good pal Treble, right here, along with his interchangeable hands. And then here's the main man himself, Base. So, let's review him. But, starting of course with none other than Treble. Let's get him out, shall we? Treble, aka Gossipal in Japan, looks absolutely amazing here. D-Arts, you did a great job manufacturing this figure. He has minimal articulation but top-notch detail. He has a ball joint in the head, some articulation in his upper leg area, but none in the knees and none in the tail. His tail is rubber though, so you can bend it, but it will just bend back into place inevitably. But do I really expect top-notch articulation out of this? No, because this is solely just to be an accessory and to look cool, and it most certainly delivers on that aspect. Just look at him. This is a one-on-one representation of what Treble looks like, and his scaling is also really nice compared to what Base is. He is not that small actually compared to what Rush was. He is slightly bigger than him, and he looks so much more beefy and just absolutely cool. But enough about this little guy. Let's get on to the main star of the show, Base. Now putting Treble aside, let's move on to Base. It's all about that Base and no Treble. Well, a little bit of him, I guess. Base is supposed to be Mega Man's counterpart and better than him in every way, much like Metal Sonic to Sonic is. And he looks absolutely amazing. All of his gem-like pieces that are represented on him are actually represented on him and not just painted on with dull paint. They are translucent and they do give the illusion that they are gems. His Cobra type fins on his head are thin plastic and not rubber. Do see that as a flaw because they can break. And his articulation down here are known to sort of fall off, like his interchangeable parts. They do pop off a lot easy. And I think this is an overall, though, a pretty highly detailed figure. Let's be honest here. Out of any Base figure that's ever been released, this is easily top-notch and best quality. I did pay $70 for this guy, which is a bit steep, but for what you are getting, I do think that it is a pretty decent value because this guy goes for like $130 on eBay and such. He does have some paint scuffs, such as I just showed you. One of them is on his ass cheek, but whatever. So, let's move on to some other things. So as you saw earlier, his hand did fall off, but that is for the interchangeable part. Taking off his base buster, we can interchange his hand parts, which you can see here. It is this small little ball joint. I do worry that will break. Not as good as the Mario SH Figure Arts ones, but oh well. If you just give it a rotate, it should pop on pretty easily, but I wouldn't put too much pressure on it. Let's be real, this thing would probably break in a heartbeat. So, we have this hand on, and I will be keeping this hand on. I just much prefer the open hand on this guy. And then the way that it keys in is the back part of it is like a rectangle shape on the inside, as I'm showing here. And it just plugs onto the arm, and it doesn't rotate much like the NEL figures do. So that kind of sucks, but it's sort of understandable. So it just pops on like that, and no big issue with that. And then of course, you can't have Megaman characters without a Mega Buster, or in this case, a Base Buster. So, same deal with the hand, just has that square-like peg that pops into it, slides on nice and easily, and bada bing, bada boom, the job's done. Now, they are known to pop off a lot easier than what other figures are known to do, and I think that sort of sucks, so I might end up using super glue to hold the hands and such in. Along with interchangeable hand parts, he also comes with an interchangeable face, and the way to do that is you pop off the top of his head. Be careful though, because it can break, and then you have to pull off the front part of his face that holds his chin strap and his eyebrow ridge area. So it is kind of challenging. You gotta like maybe wedge it off and pry it off. Took me a little while, that's why you see a lot of cuts here. Once you get it off though, it's pretty straightforward from here. You just pull the face out, give it a little bit of a tug, and then you choose the face you want. I much prefer the teeth gritting face on him, so that's the face that I'm going to keep. I don't think that I'll be changing it very much because I do fear of breaking him, so yeah. Once it's on though, it does look insanely good, and it fits together really nicely, like there's not many seams. For the top part of the head though, you do gotta push down on it a little bit to get it back in there, but once you get it back in there, it should work perfectly fine, and I wouldn't have to worry about it falling off very easily either. Now moving on to the articulation. Articulation in the head is a must-have on all figures, let's be honest here. And then articulation in the shoulders up top, it's on a type of universal joint so it can move in all directions. If I just pop the shoulder off right here, you can sort of see that a lot better. And then, yeah, the shoulder blade does come off, and it is loose. I think that's kind of dumb, so I can't pose it. And then there's articulation in the elbows. It has a weird type of C-joint, so it can curl up into the type of pose where Base would have his Base Buster in front of him, or even so he can lean it towards him to hold on to it. Hence why I have the open hand accessory. Speaking of the hand accessory, it does have articulation in the hand because it is interchangeable and on a ball joint. It just sort of clips on like so, and it does pop off insanely easily. One of the biggest faults with these types of figures. After the recording, I did use super glue on this, so now it does stay in a lot better. But just pop it in, you'll be fine. Articulation in the knee is a must-have on a Mega Man figure to get those jump poses. And then articulation in the upper leg area too. It sort of moves along with it to sort of cover up the area where the ball joint is, but that's really understandable. And then it has this weird ball joint in the foot area. Most Mega Man figures do have that, but here it isn't as bad as the others. This figure is absolutely amazing. Even has that crunch in it. Doesn't move very much forward, but it does move a hell of a lot backwards. Now, moving on to the size comparison of this guy. Although this figure looks far superior to it, the height is nothing on the Jazzwares one, where this figure stands at roughly 4 or 5 inches, the Jazzwares figure stands at around 6-ish. If I pull out my trusty ruler here, you can see just how big it is. And it is taller than the Mega Man figure. And then comparing it to my other base figure, which is the Loyal Subjects one, yeah, this one is a lot shorter, so it does stand in between Jazzwares and between Loyal Subjects. Absolutely amazing though when you scale it next to our good pal Treble over here. Two amazing Mega Man figures that I cannot recommend enough. These two figures look absolutely beautiful on my shelf, and I'm so glad to have them. That's all I gotta say for this video. I'd highly recommend these guys, and I'll see you all on the flip side.